Ravi sat quietly inside the small passenger ship as it drifted through the blackness of space. His eyes followed the glitter of distant stars beyond the glass window. The ship's engine hummed softly, steady and calm, while other passengers chatted or rested in their seats. But Ravi's mind was not calm. He was worried about the future. He had left Earth weeks ago, carrying only a small bag of clothes, a few coins of credit, and a heart full of uncertain hope. Back home, work was hard to find. Factories were closing, machines were replacing human hands, and those with little money or influence were left behind. Ravi was one of them. He was not a soldier, not a scientist, not a trader. He was an ordinary man who wanted a chance to live with dignity. When he first heard that alien colonies sometimes hired humans for special jobs, he thought it was just a rumor. But after searching station after station, knocking on doors and asking at trade offices, he finally found one advertisement that caught his eye. It was written in a mix of alien script and human translation. The words were short but clear: Tyresha colony seeks human worker. Position includes food, home, and respect. Apply at docking office. It sounded too good to be true, but Ravi had no choice. He applied. To his surprise, the alien officer at the office welcomed him warmly. Yes, yes, the tall creature had said, its voice deep and echoing. Its skin shimmered like glass, and its large eyes blinked slowly. We have been waiting for one like you. The work will be simple. You will live with us, you will eat with us, and you will contribute to our growth. You will not be poor again. The words filled Ravi's chest with relief. At last, someone wanted him. At last, he had found a door that opened. Without asking too many questions, he signed the contract. Now, as the passenger ship carried him toward Tyresha colony, Ravi felt both excitement and fear. He wondered what kind of work it would be. Was it farming? Was it teaching? Was it repairing machines? The officer had not explained clearly. But maybe that was normal. After all, human jobs on alien worlds were often unusual. The ship soon reached a glowing point in the distance. As it grew larger, Ravi saw the colony for the first time. Tyresha was unlike anything he had imagined. From above, the settlement looked like a cluster of shining crystals planted into the soil of a rocky planet. Towers rose high, their surfaces catching the light of a nearby star. Roads stretched between them like silver veins. Around the colony lay wide fields glowing with blue plants that bent and swayed though there was no wind. The ship landed gently at a docking port. Passengers stepped out, and Ravi followed, clutching his bag tightly. The air smelled sweet and fresh, different from the crowded space stations he had passed through before. His heart raced. This was his new home. Waiting at the docking area was another alien, taller than the officer he had met before. Its head was shaped like a curved crown, and its robes shimmered as if woven from threads of light. When its gaze settled on Ravi, the alien smiled, or at least made an expression that looked like a smile. "You are Ravi," the alien said in smooth, careful human words. Ravi nodded. "Yes. That is me. Welcome to Tyresha colony. We are honored you have come. You are important to us." The words struck Ravi as strange. Important. He was only an ordinary man. Yet the alien spoke as if he carried some great value. The alien guided him through shining streets. Every building looked alive, pulsing faintly with light. Small creatures darted between the glowing plants, and aliens of many forms walked past, some tall, some short, some with many arms, others with wings folded against their backs. But all of them looked at Ravi. Their eyes lingered on him, curious, almost reverent. Ravi felt his cheeks grow warm. He whispered to himself, they must not see humans very often. At last, they reached a building shaped like a curved shell. Inside, soft light glowed from the walls, and cushions of smooth fabric rested on the floor. Ravi was offered food, strange fruits that glistened like gems, and a warm drink that tasted sweet and calming. "You will live here," the alien told him. "This place is prepared for you. Tomorrow we begin your contribution." "What kind of work is it?" Ravi asked carefully. The alien tilted its head. "The most important kind. You will learn. For now, rest." Ravi lay on the bed they gave him, soft as cloud. He should have felt joy. He had food, shelter, and people who seemed to care for him. Yet questions swirled in his mind. Why were they treating him with such honor? Why did strangers on the street stare as if he was special? And what did the alien mean by the most important kind of work? As he closed his eyes, tired from the long journey, Ravi promised himself one thing: tomorrow he would find out. When morning came, Ravi woke to the soft sound of music drifting through the walls. It was not like any music he had heard before. It was gentle, flowing, as if water itself was singing. He sat up on the soft bed, blinking in the pale light that seemed to glow naturally inside the room. There were no lamps, no bulbs, just light that pulsed from the walls like a living thing. A tray of food had already been placed near the door. The fruits shimmered with faint colors, and a bread-like roll gave off warm steam. Ravi ate slowly, enjoying the sweetness of the fruit and the comfort of the soft bread. It was far better than the dry rations he had eaten during his travels. Soon, the alien from yesterday entered. Its crown-shaped head gleamed in the light. "Ravi," it said kindly. "It is time for you to see Tyresha colony." Ravi followed, carrying nothing but curiosity. Outside, the air was cool and crisp. The streets curved gracefully, lined with tall buildings that looked like crystal towers. Each surface reflected light in shifting colors, as though the whole city was alive and breathing. The ground beneath his feet was smooth and slightly warm, as if the road itself was not stone but something that responded to the people walking on it. Aliens of many shapes moved about the colony. Some were tall with long flowing limbs, while others were small and round with soft glowing eyes. Despite their differences, they all moved with calm purpose. When Ravi passed, their eyes followed him. Some stopped to whisper, their voices too quiet for him to hear, while others bowed their heads slightly as if in greeting. Ravi's heart raced. He had never been looked at this way. Back on Earth, he had often felt invisible, one among millions. But here, every gaze was on him. The alien guide led him through a wide marketplace. Stalls overflowed with goods Ravi had never seen before: fabric that shifted color when touched, crystals that hummed softly, and jars filled with glowing liquid. The merchants spoke in many languages, but when they noticed Ravi, they grew silent for a moment, their eyes widening in wonder. Then they returned to their trade, though still glancing at him now and then. "What is this place?" Ravi asked softly as they walked. "This is Tyresha," the guide replied. "It is more than a settlement. It is a home for many species. We live together, grow together, and seek harmony." Ravi nodded slowly. He had heard of mixed colonies before, but seeing it with his own eyes was different. There was no shouting, no fighting, no pushing. Everyone moved as if they were part of a single rhythm. It was strange, yet peaceful. They passed a garden unlike any Ravi had imagined. Trees with silver leaves swayed though no wind blew. Flowers opened and closed as he walked by, as if greeting him. Small winged creatures flitted from branch to branch, their wings glowing faintly in the light. A fountain in the center sent water upward in graceful spirals, the droplets shining like stars before falling back into the pool. Ravi stopped, staring with wide eyes. "It is beautiful," he whispered. The alien tilted its head. "This garden responds to life. It can sense you." As if to prove the words, one of the flowers bent toward Ravi and released a soft scent, sweet and calming. He smiled, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. The guide then led him into a large hall. The ceiling arched high, glittering with tiny lights like a captured night sky. In the center of the hall, a group of aliens sat in a circle, their hands joined, humming together in a low sound that made the walls vibrate gently. "They are welcoming you," the guide explained. "You are new, and so they greet you with song." Ravi swallowed hard. "But why me? I am no one special." The alien gave a slow, knowing smile. "To us, you are." The words puzzled Ravi. Still, he bowed politely to the singing circle. Their hum grew louder for a moment, then softened again, fading into silence. Afterward, the guide showed him his new home more closely. The rooms were simple but elegant. The walls glowed softly at his touch, and the bed adjusted to his body when he lay down. A window opened to a wide view of the glowing fields outside. "You will be cared for here," the alien said. "You will not be hungry. You will not be cold. The work will begin soon, but first, you must rest and learn." Ravi sat quietly, still unsure what kind of work this was. Every kindness he received only deepened his confusion. Why would they treat him with such respect, when he was only an ordinary traveler looking for survival? As night fell again over Tyrusha, the colony lights shimmered like stars on the ground. From his window, Ravi watched the strange plants glow softly in the fields. The aliens moved peacefully under the lights, their shadows stretching across the silver roads. Ravi whispered to himself, "This place is full of wonders. But what do they truly want from me?" He lay back on his bed, the question circling in his mind, waiting for tomorrow to bring answers. Ravi quickly settled into life at Tyrusha colony. Each day seemed to bring something new for him to see. The aliens treated him with kindness, offering meals, clothes, and even time to walk through the glowing gardens or sit in the crystal halls where music always floated in the air. At first, Ravi felt as if he had stepped into a dream. He had food without struggle, shelter without payment, and a community that seemed to notice him. Yet the longer he stayed, the more he began to notice little things that made him uneasy. When he walked through the streets, the eyes of strangers always followed him. Their gazes were not unfriendly, but there was something heavy in them, something more than simple curiosity. Children tugged at their parents' robes and whispered while pointing at him. Traders in the marketplace paused their sales to watch him as he passed. Some even lowered their heads respectfully, as if he were more than just a newcomer. One morning, as he strolled through the silver leaf garden, Ravi sat on a stone bench near the fountain. A group of small, bird-like aliens played nearby, their wings glowing with faint light. Two older aliens stood under a tree not far away, their voices low. Ravi could not understand the full language, but he caught a few translated words from the translator device on his wrist. "The last one was strong," one said. "This one will be stronger." Ravi's brows pulled together. "Last one? Stronger?" He turned his head to listen more, but the two noticed his movement and quickly fell silent. When he rose from the bench, they bowed slightly and walked away. That night, Ravi lay in his glowing room and thought about the words. What did they mean? Were there other humans here before him? And why would they speak of strength, when he had done no work yet? The next day, Ravi joined his guide in a tour of the learning hall. The walls shifted to show moving pictures of history, glowing maps of distant planets, and records of many species that had lived in Tyrusha. Ravi listened carefully, eager to learn. Yet even here, he noticed the whispers. When he entered the hall, a quiet group of students looked up at him, their voices dropping to hushed tones. Some bowed their heads, others touched their foreheads in a gesture he did not understand. He leaned toward his guide and asked softly, "Why do they look at me like this? I am no leader. I am no teacher." The guide's eyes glimmered with unreadable calm. "They see what you cannot see yet. You will understand in time." The answer only deepened Ravi's confusion. Later that week, he was invited to a feast in one of the crystal towers. The hall was full of lights, and long tables overflowed with shining fruits and sweet drinks. Music filled the air, and the smell of spice and flour mixed together. The colony elders sat at the high end of the table, their robes bright with silver threads. Ravi was given a seat near the front, close to the elders themselves. As he walked forward, all eyes turned toward him again. He heard the same whispers rise and fall like a wave, the new one, rare, strong. He sat down nervously, his heart beating fast. The elder at the center of the table lifted a shining cup and spoke. "We welcome Ravi, who has come to us from far away. He is part of our future, part of our growth. Let us honor him." The crowd lifted their cups in unison. "Honor," they said together. Ravi smiled weakly and bowed his head. He sipped the sweet drink offered to him, but his thoughts spun in circles. Why would they honor him this way? He had done nothing yet. He was only a man from Earth who signed a contract because he needed work. As the feast continued, Ravi noticed one more strange detail. Every time an elder spoke to him, their words carried double meaning. "You are important," they told him. "Your presence strengthens us. Your path will help us grow. You are rare." Each phrase sounded kind, but also mysterious. That night, walking back to his room under the glowing towers, Ravi felt the whispers in his mind grow louder. The people's stares, the children pointing, the strange words about strength and rarity, all of it pressed on his heart like a weight. He paused in the quiet street and looked around. The colony sparkled in peace, the crystal walls glowing softly, the garden swaying as if alive. Yet beneath that beauty, Ravi felt a hidden layer, something the colony was not saying aloud. "Why me?" he whispered to himself. "Why do they look at me like this? What do they expect from me?" The night answered only with silence. Still, Ravi knew one thing. The whispers were not simple curiosity. They were waiting for something from him, something he did not yet understand. And he promised himself, no matter how kind the aliens were, he would discover the truth. The next morning, Ravi was woken earlier than usual. The gentle light in his room brightened, and a soft chime rang from the wall. His guide entered, carrying a calm smile as always. "Ravi," the guide said, "today you will begin your contribution. The first steps are simple. Come with me." Ravi dressed quickly and followed. His heart beat with both excitement and worry. At last, he would know what kind of work he had been hired for. The guide led him through winding streets until they reached a tall building shaped like a crystal spire. The walls shone with blue light, and the doorway opened silently as they approached. Inside, the air smelled fresh and clean, almost like rain. Strange devices stood in neat rows, glowing faintly. Aliens in silver robes greeted him politely. Their eyes studied him with quiet focus, as though he were the most important visitor they had seen in years. "You are welcome, Ravi," one of them said. "We will begin with tests, so we may know you better. Please do not worry. Nothing here will harm you." Ravi nodded. He had been tested before on Earth, simple health checks when applying for jobs, but this felt different. Still, he had no reason to refuse. The first test was simple. They asked him to step onto a round platform. Light rose up around him, scanning from head to toe. A screen nearby glowed with shifting symbols. The aliens whispered among themselves, nodding. Ravi could not read their language, but he could see their expressions, approval. Next, they asked him to grip a rod that glowed with red light. "Hold it tight," one said gently. Ravi did as told, feeling warmth spread through his hand. When he released it, the device hummed, and another set of symbols appeared. Again, the aliens nodded, pleased. Then came exercises. They guided him into a wide room with smooth floors. "Run as far as you can," they told him. Ravi hesitated but obeyed, jogging across the shining surface. The floor seemed to shift beneath him, stretching longer with each step. It felt endless, but strangely, he did not tire as quickly as he expected. When he finally slowed, the aliens clapped their long hands together in delight. "You are strong," one of them said. "Very strong." Ravi wiped sweat from his brow. "I am only average," he answered honestly. "Back home, many are stronger than me." The aliens exchanged knowing glances. "Not here," they said softly. More tests followed. They asked him to lift objects that looked like smooth stones but grew heavier as he held them. They tested his balance by asking him to walk across beams that shifted gently beneath his feet. They measured his breath, his heartbeat, and even the clarity of his eyes. Between each test, they gave him sweet drinks and fruit that seemed to restore his energy quickly. He felt light and alert, as though the food carried some secret strength within it. At last, the tests ended. Ravi sat on a cushioned bench, breathing deeply. The aliens stood together, speaking in low tones. He caught fragments of words from his translator: rare, excellent, strong base, future secured. Ravi frowned. "Excuse me," he asked carefully, "why are you testing me like this? What kind of work needs so many checks?" One of the robed aliens turned to him with a gentle smile. "Ravi, you are not like others. Your body carries qualities we have long searched for. We only wish to understand you fully, so your contribution may be guided in the best way." Ravi shifted uneasily. "But I signed for a job. I thought I would work in fields, or help in the city." "You will help in a greater way," the alien replied softly. "You will learn more soon. For now, rest. More tests will come tomorrow." That night, Ravi returned to his room, his thoughts restless. He lay on the soft bed, staring at the glowing ceiling. Why so many tests? Why were they so pleased with results that seemed ordinary to him? He had never been the strongest or the fastest back on Earth. He was just Ravi, a simple man looking for survival. Yet here, every small effort seemed to amaze them. Over the next days, the pattern continued. Each morning, new tests awaited him: his memory, his reflexes, even his dreams. They gave him puzzles that shifted in glowing shapes, asking him to solve them. They played strange sounds and asked how quickly he could repeat them. Each time, the aliens looked at him with shining eyes and whispered words he could not fully understand. And every day, they gave him food and drinks that made him feel stronger, sharper, more alive. His muscles no longer ached after running. His thoughts no longer felt heavy. It was as if the colony itself was shaping him into something new. Walking back one evening, Ravi noticed again the way strangers bowed slightly as he passed. Their whispers followed him down the silver road. The chosen one. The strong one. The future. Ravi's heart tightened. He wanted to ask them directly, but each time he opened his mouth, the words died on his tongue. He was not sure he was ready for the answer. Yet one truth grew clear in his mind: this was no ordinary job. The colony wanted something far greater from him. And whether he liked it or not, he was at the center of it. Days turned into weeks, and Ravi's life in Tyresha colony became a strange routine. Every morning he was guided to new tests, and every evening he returned to his room with food and rest. The aliens always treated him with respect, yet never explained clearly why they valued him so much. At first, Ravi accepted it. After all, he was safe, fed, and cared for. But deep inside, questions grew heavier. Each whisper he overheard, each bow he received, each smile filled with hidden meaning made him restless. One night, after another long day of training and tests, Ravi sat by his window. The colony outside shimmered with soft lights, gardens glowing in the silver air. Peace surrounded the streets, yet his heart was uneasy. He whispered to himself, "I must know. I cannot just live like this without answers." The next morning, Instead of following his guide, Ravi quietly slipped into a different path. He had noticed before that certain buildings were marked with symbols that seemed important. They were guarded more closely, and only the robed aliens entered. He chose one of those buildings. Moving carefully, he followed a group of aliens through the door before it closed. Inside, the air felt cooler, and the walls glowed with faint blue light. Corridors stretched ahead, silent and still. Ravi kept to the shadows, walking slowly so no one would hear his steps. At last, he reached a wide chamber filled with floating screens. Symbols and pictures moved across them, showing records, names, and numbers. Ravi's wrist translator caught some of the words. He leaned closer, his eyes narrowing as he tried to read. The first line made his breath catch, human subject record. His heart pounded. He scrolled further, and the images changed. He saw pictures of other humans, some looking young, some older. Their faces were calm, but the records beside them carried words he understood: strength measured, health excellent, contribution complete. Ravi's mouth went dry. Other humans had been here before him. He had not been the first. He moved quickly to another record. This one showed charts and drawings of human bodies, alongside alien symbols that translated to words like rare structure, high adaptability, essential for growth. Finally, his eyes froze on one line that made everything clear: human lineage strengthens our own. They are our foundation for survival. Ravi stumbled back, his chest tight. All the tests, all the food, all the respect, they had not been for a worker. He was not here to build roads, or tend fields, or trade in markets. He was here because of his body, because of what he carried inside himself. His mind raced. So that was why they whispered rare. That was why they said strong. They saw humans not as simple travelers, but as something their colony needed, something they depended on. A soft sound behind him made Ravi spin. One of the robed aliens stood at the doorway, watching calmly. Its eyes glimmered, not with anger, but with quiet patience. "You have learned," the alien said softly. Ravi's voice shook. "So it is true? Humans are not workers here. You bring us for another reason." The alien stepped closer, folding its long hands. "It is true. Your kind is rare, Ravi. What you carry in your blood, in your strength, cannot be found elsewhere. Our people weaken over time. We lose what we once had. But when humans join us, our life continues. Our children grow stronger. Our future is safe." Ravi's chest tightened. "So that is why I am here? Not for work, but because you need me for this." The alien lowered its head slightly. "Yes. But you must not think of it as being used. You are honored here, more than you were on Earth. You are not poor anymore. You are not invisible. With us, you are the center of life itself." Ravi turned away, struggling with his thoughts. He had come here desperate for a simple job. He had dreamed of steady work and food. Instead, he had discovered that he was seen as something far greater, something he had never asked to be. The alien's voice was gentle. "You may be afraid. But understand this: without humans, our colony would fade. With you, it grows. That is why you are treated with respect. That is why you are important." Ravi stood in silence, staring at the glowing screens. He remembered the whispers in the streets, the bows, the songs of welcome. They had not been kindness alone. They had been reverence, as if he carried a light none of them had. Slowly, he whispered, "So I am not just a worker. I am the foundation." The alien nodded. "Yes, Ravi. You are the bridge between our species. You are the future." Ravi's hands trembled. A part of him wanted to run, to escape back to Earth. But another part remembered the hunger, the rejection, the hopelessness he had left behind. Here, he was needed. Here, he was valued. As he left the chamber that night, his mind swirled with conflict. The truth was heavy, but it was his truth now. Whether he liked it or not, he was no longer just Ravi the traveler. He was Ravi the rare, Ravi the strong, Ravi the chosen. And from this moment on, his life would never be the same. Ravi could not sleep that night. He lay awake on the soft bed, staring at the glowing ceiling. His mind kept replaying what he had seen: the records, the images of other humans, the words written on the screens. Human lineage strengthens our own. Those words weighed heavily on his heart. He turned on his side, closing his eyes, but the whispers from the streets echoed in his ears. Rare, strong, the future. He finally understood what they meant, yet that knowledge gave him no peace. In the morning, when his guide arrived to escort him, Ravi hesitated at the door. "I know the truth now," he said quietly. The guide paused, tilting its crown-shaped head. "Then you understand why you are honored." Ravi's voice grew sharper. "Honored? You see me as something to use. You need humans for your survival." The guide did not deny it. "Yes. But tell me, Ravi, did you not come here searching for work, searching for meaning? On Earth, you struggled. Here, you are valued." Ravi fell silent. The words struck deep. It was true: back on Earth, he had been invisible, ignored by society. Here, even if for a reason he did not choose, he was needed. Still, he asked, "What if I refuse? What if I say I will not do this?" The guide lowered its head respectfully. "That is your choice. We will not harm you. You may leave the colony if you wish. But know this, without you, we lose a part of our future. And without us, where will you go? Back to hunger, back to rejection." Ravi said nothing. Over the next days, he walked alone through the streets, trying to decide. Everywhere he went, the people greeted him with respect. They bowed their heads, touched their foreheads, or whispered blessings in their language. Children followed him, their eyes shining with wonder. At the marketplace, a trader pressed fruit into his hands. "For you, honored one," the trader said, smiling warmly. Ravi tried to refuse, but the alien insisted. "You give us hope. Accept it." At the gardens, the silver leaf trees bent slightly when he passed, as if the plants themselves recognized him. Even the smallest details of the colony seemed to remind him, he was not just a guest here. He was something more. One evening, the elders invited him to the crystal hall again. The great chamber glittered with lights, and the circle of singers hummed their deep, steady song. Ravi sat before the elders, his heart heavy. The elder in the center spoke, its voice calm and deep. "Ravi, we will not force you. You are free to choose your path. But we ask you to see what you mean to us. With your presence, we thrive. With your gift, our children are strong. We wish not to use you, but to honor you as one who carries the seed of survival." Ravi looked around the hall. Every face was turned toward him. Not one expression was cold or cruel. They did not see him as a tool, but as something almost sacred. He thought of Earth, how he had walked through crowded streets unseen, how jobs had turned him away, how he had left because no door had opened for him. And here, an entire colony looked at him with hope. His chest tightened. The choice was not easy. That night, standing by his window, Ravi whispered to himself, "If I leave, I return to nothing. If I stay, I become something greater. But am I ready for this?" The next morning, Ravi asked to meet the elders again. They gathered in the hall, their eyes calm and expectant. "I will stay," Ravi said finally. His voice was steady, though his hands trembled slightly. "But not as a silent tool. If I am to be part of your future, then I want a voice in it. I want every human who comes here to be treated with the same respect I have seen. No one should be brought without choice. No one should feel less than honored. The elders looked at one another. Then the leader nodded slowly. You speak with courage, Ravi. We will honor your wish. From this day, humans will come not as subjects, but as partners. You will have a place among us, a seat in our council. Ravi's heart pounded. He had expected agreement, but not this. A seat in their council meant true power, true influence. You will guide us, the elder continued. Not only with your body, but with your voice. Together, we will shape a future for both our peoples. For the first time since leaving Earth, Ravi felt something he had never known before, purpose. He was not just surviving anymore. He was building something greater. As he left the hall, whispers followed him again. But now, he understood them. They were not whispers of mystery, but of hope. And Ravi, once an ordinary man lost among billions, was ready to carry that hope. Ravi stood at the balcony of the council chamber, looking over the wide streets of the alien settlement. The city glowed with quiet life. Lights shimmered from crystal towers, markets were alive with soft voices, and children ran freely among the silver leaf trees. For weeks, Ravi had been learning the ways of the council. Each day began with long discussions in the crystal hall, where elders listened to reports from farmers, builders, teachers, and healers. Ravi had his own seat now. It was small compared to the tall, shining chairs of the elders, but to him it meant more than any throne. It was proof that he had a voice. At first, he listened more than he spoke. The language was still strange to him, and he feared saying the wrong thing. But the elders encouraged him. Your view is important, they reminded him. You see with human eyes, and that is what we need. Slowly, Ravi grew more confident. He suggested changes in how new workers were welcomed into the colony. He asked for schools where human children, if they came, could learn both human and alien knowledge. He asked for trade that included Earth goods, so both worlds could benefit. The elders listened carefully. Sometimes they debated, sometimes they hesitated, but in the end, they agreed. They began shaping the colony in a way that blended the two peoples, instead of keeping them apart. Outside the hall, the people also changed. They no longer whispered about Ravi as if he were a mystery. Now they greeted him as a leader. Traders offered him samples, builders asked for his opinion, and children ran up to him without fear. One evening, while walking in the garden, Ravi stopped under a silver tree. A group of young learners sat there, listening to their teacher. When they saw him, they ran over, smiling and curious. Is it true you came from a world far away? One asked. Yes, Ravi said with a gentle smile. From a place called Earth. Do people there look like you? Another asked. Ravi laughed softly. Yes, many do. Some look different too, but we are all human. The children stared in awe. Will more humans come here? Ravi thought for a moment before answering. Yes. But this time, they will come by choice. And when they do, they will be welcomed, just as you welcomed me. The children cheered and returned to their lesson, leaving Ravi with a warmth in his heart. He realized something then: he was not only shaping laws and councils. He was shaping the future in the minds of the young. As days turned into weeks, visitors from Earth finally arrived. A small group of humans stepped into the settlement, guided by alien escorts. They looked nervous at first, just as Ravi had been when he arrived. But when they saw Ravi waiting for them, their fear eased. He stepped forward, speaking in his own language. Welcome, friends. This place may feel strange now, but here you will find respect. You are not tools. You are partners. The newcomers listened, relief showing on their faces. The aliens bowed their heads in agreement, honoring Ravi's promise. The settlement began to change faster after that. Human foods appeared in the markets. Alien tools were sent back to Earth. Small schools grew where children of both peoples studied together. And slowly, friendships formed between the two species. Ravi often thought of his old life on Earth, the crowded streets, the closed doors, the feeling of being invisible. Now, he walked through the settlement and every door opened. Every face lit up at his presence. One night, sitting by his window, Ravi whispered to himself, "I was lost, but now I am found. I was alone, but now I belong." The stars above sparkled brightly, as if the universe itself was listening. Soon, the elders gave Ravi a new title. The Bridge, they called him, for he connected two worlds. But Ravi did not see himself as powerful or special. He saw himself simply as a man who had once been forgotten, now given a chance to make a difference. And he promised himself he would never waste that chance. The story of Ravi spread beyond the settlement. More humans arrived, not as strangers but as partners. More aliens accepted them, not as resources but as equals. Together they built a future where survival was not about using one another, but about walking side by side. Ravi often returned to the garden where the silver trees grew. There, children of both kinds played together, laughing under the glowing leaves. Watching them, he felt a deep peace. This was what it meant to belong. This was what it meant to have purpose. And so, the man who had once left Earth searching for work found something greater than a job. He found respect, family, and a place in history. Ravi was no longer just one human among billions. He was the bridge that carried two worlds into a shared tomorrow.